Good afternoon, everyone. This is Kyle Cawthorn with InvestRight Realty Group, your neighborhood sponsor for Park Bench. And today I am visiting with Brian Case of Guild Mortgage. Brian, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Kyle.
You're welcome. Park Bench is our new website where we offer to business owners and entrepreneurs an opportunity to advertise for free. The website is also filled with local events and local news. So Brian, thanks again. Appreciate you joining me.
Thanks for having me, Kyle.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and maybe how long you've lived here in the Valley?
Yeah, so I've lived here in the Valley since I was 4 years old. Our family moved to Ashland when I was 4. Went all through high school in Ashland, graduated high school here and never been to LA before. I packed up everything I owned, moved to LA. Found my wife, lived down there for about 8 years and brought her back to Ashland. And now we've got, I've got 1 boy, 3 daughters. 3 granddaughters already on the ground and 2 in the oven, so we'll have 5 granddaughters under the age of 3 here very shortly.
Oh my gosh, wow, that's amazing. So how long have you been a mortgage broker?
Actually, I started on Valentine's Day in 1997, so I just passed 24 years.
Wow. What made you choose Guild Mortgage?
Well, being a toilet paper salesman was not very fulfilling. I actually, when I moved up from Los Angeles, I actually started with American Linen and Janitorial Supply, and I sold hotel and motel supplies, so we always had a laughing joke that I was a toilet paper salesman. And a gentleman that I'd worked with and gone to high school with refinanced my house, and he said, "Brian, did you ever think about getting in this industry? I think you'd be good at it." And the one thing I knew about a mortgage at that time was that I had one and it needed to be paid, but I decided to jump in, and the rest is history. It's just been one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Wow, and how long have you been with Guild?
I've been with Guild over about 7 years now, but again in the industry here locally for over 24. So.
Oh, fantastic. Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
So can you offer any advice to prospective homeowners?
Absolutely. Start early. People, and don't do anything until you talk to your lender. The reason I say that, a lot of people go, "Oh, I need to clean up my credit before I go talk to my mortgage guy." And people will do things like pay off collections and things of that nature, thinking it's going to help their credit score. And in fact, they're sabotaging it. It makes no sense, but if you pay off a collection, your credit score actually goes down. And so we would rather get with you first, do a credit consult with you to find out what's the best way to optimize that credit score. And if we do need to pay off a collection or something like that, we're going to do it at the end when we're closing through escrow, so it doesn't affect your score until after the loan is closed.
Excellent.
So,
Well, you and I have done quite a bit of business over the years.
absolutely.
And I could state that one of the best statistics with Guild Mortgage and my clients is that once my clients are pre-approved, we're 100% to close, which is a fantastic goal that we've had for each and every one of my clients, our mutual clients.
Well, it helps having a good partner.
So
So,
I appreciate that very much. So what type of loans does your company offer?
you know, we run the full gamut. You know, we're not a bank. All we do is mortgages, and so we focus 100% on that. Everybody from the janitor to the CEO understands that if we're not putting people in homes, we don't have a job. so we do all the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac type of loans, conventional financing, if you will. We do the Oregon bond loans, veterans loans. We have some down payment assist programs, so where we can give buyers 100% financing for some programs. One of the best programs we just came out with was a proprietary loan. What we call it's a bridge loan, and it's our proprietary product because there's limited inventory out there right now, and you have a lot of folks that they'd be willing to put their house on the market, but they're afraid they won't find a replacement home. And so with this, it allows them to borrow the equity in their current home before it's sold to use as a down payment on the home that they want. And then once they move into that new home, they can sell their home after the fact.
Oh, that's excellent.
But they can still tap that equity for the down
Nice.
payment. So.
What makes your company stand out in today's market?
Well, you know, there's obviously a lot of competition out there, and you see a lot of online lenders, and then you see some retail lenders. Everyone's trying to be high tech out there. We want to be high tech, but we want to be high touch, and so that's kind of our model. So our technology, I think, is outperforming our industry in leaps and bounds. What do I mean by that? You know, once in the process of closing loans, we've got technology that keeps people informed during the process, so that they know exactly where they're at during each step of it. After they close, we have programs like that send out a monthly register to them to tell them what their value of their property is every month based on algorithms. We monitor them long after we're done to show, hey, are they in the best position they should be in that mortgage? We scrub our entire database because we service the loans that we keep, which is unusual in today's market.
True.
And so we're servicing them constantly and constantly looking for opportunities to save them money. So I think technology and just the high touch, but the high tech with the high touch.
What is one of the most memorable experiences you've had so far?
Well, there's two that come to mind, I think, right away. Ironically, they both have to do with veterans. Our office used to be right next to Hawthorne Park, which you know has a high homeless population. And there was a gentleman that was a vet that was homeless that came into our office. And we actually talked with him, and over 6 months, we were able to get him into his first home that he owned. It was just one of those tearjerker moments, and you're just like, yeah, it was just such a celebration when we closed on him. Fast forward 3 years from there, he actually now owned 3 properties. So the guy went from being homeless to being a multiple property owner. It was amazing transformation. So that was great. The other one was an 80-year-old veteran that came into my office, and he had never owned a home. And he said, I know I'm probably too old, but I would love to own a home in my life. And I was like, there is no age limit on a veteran loan. You fought, you earned for that right. Let's get you into a home. And so he moved into his home in Eagle Point at the age of 80 years old as a first-time home buyer. So
wow.
those two kind of, those won't be easily forgotten.
Oh, definitely not, yeah. What are some of the odd requests that you've had?
We get quite a few of them. Some of the most common though, I've had people want to get pre-approved to buy a home, but they don't have a job. Sorry guys, you got to have employment to get a job or some kind of income coming in. We've also had, I think one of the hardest requests that we have are people that see what the market is doing as far as values. So they're online looking at $300,000-$400,000 houses, but they don't want their payment over $1,000 a month. So that's kind of a challenge for us sometimes. But those are requests that we get quite often. So those can be a challenge.
So with our current situation with COVID, I know we've all been challenged in some case. How have you been so successful and have overcome that major obstacle of COVID?
Obviously, goes back to some of the technology that we have in place. So we were able to do a lot of business without being face-to-face because we've got the systems already in place to do that. And I credit most of it to my team. I've just got an incredible team, and everybody just dug in. And whether they were working from home or splitting shifts between the office and home, juggling kids, this has been one of the busiest times in our industry. And it's just amazing to see how people have just risen to the occasion to make sure that we're taking care of people. Because we don't look at this as, hey, what's this doing for us? We go, how many families can we help? We just helped that family save $400 a month. We just got that family into their first house, or we just helped them upgrade into their dream home. So it's just driven by that desire just to help.
Excellent. You and I had an opportunity to do something on a personal note.
Yes, sir.
Recently, actually at the end of 2020.
Absolutely.
Why don't you explain what a Misogi is and exactly what you and I, along with Trey Berkey, did?
Gotcha. Well, I'm in a coaching program, and we got to be part of an interview with a very successful entrepreneur, and he said some things that just hit home to me. He was like, he took it looking at life not in a sense of linear time, like, hey, I've got 10 years left with my parents, right? He goes, no, how many times do you see your parents? Well, I see them once a year. Well, then you have 10 visits left with your parents. And when you look at life and that dynamic between around events versus time, it's remarkable how much differently you look at life. And so I've got a lot of stuff on my bucket list. And so we were going to Vegas, as you know, for a surprise birthday party. And one of the things I've always wanted to do is go up in a stunt plane or a fighter plane and do some wild stuff in an airplane. And so I recruited Kyle and another friend of mine, Trey, when we were down there. And I talked them into going up in these aerobatic airplanes at a place called Sky Ace Combat. And a Misogi is doing something so big one time a year that it carries you through the rest of the year. So that was my Misogi for 2020. I figured, this has been a wild ride in 2020, so let's end the year with a wild ride. And so the three of us went up and we got to fly in these aerobatic airplanes, and we got to do barrel rolls, stunt rolls. We did dogfighting, where we actually got to go up and they have lasers on these planes. And as you shoot your buddy, smoke pops out of the plane when you hit him. I mean, it was just an incredible, amazing event. And so that I don't know about you, Kyle, but that was the highlight of 2020 for me.
Well, it most definitely was, and it's something that for the rest of my life, I will always remember what I did December 31st, 2020.
Right?
Absolutely. That memory will be ingrained in my head for the rest of my life.
So what are we doing this year, Kyle?
I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to get scuba diving certified, and I definitely want to do that with you and Trey. Well, thank you again for visiting with me today. I appreciate it very much.
Thanks for having me.
Once again, this is Kyle with InvestRight Realty Group. Check this video out on parkbench.com. We'll send out a link to this video through social media. Like it, subscribe to us for up and coming events and local news. And I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Take care.